Hi guys, I'm Kimberly and welcome to my kitchen. Today we are going to be talking about different gluten-free flours. Now, there are lots of different gluten-free flours out there, and I'm going to give you a bit of knowledge on them, as well as different ways we can use them in our everyday lives. So first we're going to talk about individual flours. So when you have wheat flour, that's really all that you need to start baking. But gluten-free flours are a bit different. You cannot substitute wheat flour, 1 cup of wheat flour for 1 cup of rice flour. It just won't work the same. So if you want to make your own flour, you're gonna need different kinds of flours to come together so that you can make a gluten-free flour that will work in different recipes. Also, you could use cornstarch, you can use pea flour, you can use bean flour. There's so many different flours out there that you can use. I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite ones and the ones that I use in my daily life. Now, when I first started, there wasn't really anything out there. There was very little. You could buy these kind of flours at Whole Foods, but that was really the only place that you could find these gluten-free flours. So it was a little overwhelming and hard to work with. I even started grinding my own rice into flour at the very beginning because it's so expensive to buy so many different kinds of flours to make up your own gluten-free flour. So I've done it all. I've ground my own rice. I have made different blends for different things, pizza crust, cake mix, different things to make what you want. But today is a little bit different. There's so many different products out there now that just make life a lot easier. And so I'm going to share with you what I have learned. So if you're going to be making your own flours for desserts, for those kind of things, for pie crusts, for cakes, for anything like that, the big base that I always use was sweet rice flour. And I love it. I think it's a little bit finer. I don't think you get that grainy texture as much when you use sweet rice flour. I love the taste that it gives, the fluff that it gives to different products. I think it's just a little bit lighter than regular rice flour. So that's what I always kind of gravitated towards using. And even when I'm making my cakes, I'll use sweet rice flour to dust the pans. I'll use that for multiple things to roll out my pie crust. I will use that for that. So I still use that in my everyday life. But nowadays there are gluten-free blends that they sell in the store that make life so much easier. They are like cup for cup mixes that you can buy that replace 1 cup of wheat flour for 1 cup of this gluten-free flour, and it's really nice. And yes, it is really expensive, but if you budget for it and if you find sales on it, it's really great. You can find a lot of these flours in your grocery store, Walmart. We have a Sprouts near us that I find a lot of these flours that usually have a lot of good sales that I can stock up on. So the first flour blend that I'm going to be talking about is Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1 baking flour. Now, this is great. Now, Bob's Red Mill has really been kind of at the forefront of this gluten-free revolution. They were the ones supplying all the gluten-free flours. They were really the go-to brand to find any flours that you needed to make your own blends, and now they make their own blend. It's my favorite. It's what I use in all of my cooking. My father-in-law was able to find this blend in a 25-pound bag at the Costco Business Center, and it has changed my life. So I don't have this small little package that I'm dealing with. I'm using 25 pounds of flour, so I can make, pretty much anything that I want. And this blend is, the first ingredient is sweet rice flour, and that's what really sold me on it, because it has the flour that I love the most. And so it makes such great desserts, pretty much anything I use with this. It's what I use to convert all my wheat recipes into gluten-free, and it's wonderful. One thing that you have to have in a gluten-free replacing flour is xanthan gum. And once you become gluten-free, you kind of get to know this, because it's the gluten replacer. It kind of acts as a fluffing agent to make your recipes rise and be fluffy and replace that gluten in your different recipes. So that's all included in this. So you don't have to buy separate xanthan gum to add to your recipes, which is so nice, because xanthan gum in and of itself was so expensive just to buy it on its own. So now it's all included. So this has sweet rice flour, whole grain brown rice flour, potato starch, whole grain sweet white sorghum flour, tapioca flour, and xanthan gum. So in this mix, it has a bunch of starches and flours to make that replacing flour. So I really, truly recommend this. Also, another flour that I found is Pillsbury makes their own cup for cup replacing flour, and it's great. It has a little bit of different ingredients, so it's not my favorite. The main ingredient is rice flour, so I think it's a little bit heavier than the Bob's Red Mill, but this is super easy to find. I found this in my grocery store. Super easy to find. So this is always can be a go-to backup whenever you need flour. It's great. It has different ingredients, and it has rice flour, potato starch, pea fiber, and tapioca starch, as well as xanthan gum. So it has all the starches and flours that you need to have a good replacing flour. So I do recommend this. It's just not quite my favorite. But there's lots of other different ones that you can find in specialty grocery stores. But these are the ones that I found in Walmart, Target, my local grocery store, where they're super easy to find. You can go to specialty stores like Whole Foods, Sprouts, those kind of stores, and you're going to find a wider range of different flours that you can use. But I still, out of all the ones that you can find, I still highly recommend Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1, the 1-to-1 baking flour. It's great, it's easy, and you won't be disappointed by it. And again, all my recipes either use the cake mixes that we've already talked about, or have used the Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1. So I hope this was beneficial. I hope that you found a little bit more information. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you back next time. Thanks so much for watching.